Welcome to Just Cook It Radio, hosted by Chef Mario Pareca and Bill Alexander. Just Cook It Radio is about food, life, and everything in between. And now, your hosts of Just Cook It Radio, Mario and Bill.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are listening to Just Cook It on your local station, 590 Radio, WMBS, and also on SCTV, Channel 77, and at justcookit.tv. I am Mario Pareca. I'm here with Bill Alexander, and we are live at the 2013. Well, we're live every weekend.
It's better than the alternative.
But, right. We are not, well, I didn't say a live. I said live. But we are live at the 2013 Fayette County Heart Walk right here at Penn State Fayette, the Everly campus. And it's a beautiful day. Bill and I were talking before the program. We're a little concerned with some possible rain, but it's so far so good. The weather's lovely, not too hot, not too cold. There's a lot of people starting to fill in, which I believe the Heart Walk actually begins at 9 a.m.
So, yeah.
Well, shortly after and
that.
It's
They're doing
about 9:13 right now.
Yeah, they're doing registration.
That'll be getting underway here very shortly. And on the program, we're going to talk about heart-healthy foods today. And
but wait a minute. Before we do that, and I'm going to taint the show in the beginning, and then we can redeem it by the end.
Okay,
last Saturday I had a shout-out to listeners if they found something to get them to us. Well, one of my colleagues heard the program on Saturday, and they were out on Sunday, and guess what we got?
I've been waiting for this all week. You texted me a picture.
Candy corn Oreos.
The infamous candy corn Oreos.
The ones we could not find. So I figure,
as tempting as it is to try them right now, I will save you the crunch in the microphone. Try them in break.
No. You have to do it right now.
I have to do it. Okay.
You have to do it right now, because then we have to go heart healthy. Because honestly, this is not heart healthy.
No, it's not. And we were looking for these all season last year. If you go back and listen to our podcast and you listen to our shows from last year, we were begging and pleading for these candy corn Oreos, which were the seasonal Oreos. I guess they're back again this year.
Now, if you do something, if you open the lid
of the Oreo,
yes, it's the candy corn colors of the
it is.
Orange and the yellow, and if you sniff them, it's like drinking wine. It smells like
a nice aroma.
Candy corn.
It looks like a yin yang, if you will.
A yin and yang.
Yeah,
I like that.
Of orange and yellow. And one other thing, while we're talking about this, we'll
get heart healthy
as we're changing the program at the beginning. Someone else who listened to the program was actually my aunt. I saw her after we did the program last week, and she had has this food that she absolutely loves and had to tell me about. And I was actually at her house this past week, and she had to mix me up a batch and let me try it. And what it is, and it is really, really good, and it kind of blew my mind. It's simply candy corn and peanuts mixed together.
A unhealthy trail mix is what you're saying.
Basically, it's a delicious trail mix, but it's got that salty, sweet, like if you will, a chocolate-covered pretzel.
Right.
And it's just really, it's addictive. You have one, and, she told me about it earlier in the week, and I thought, it makes sense, I'm sure it's good, but then when I actually had it in front of me and tasted it, I couldn't stop.
Right.
So if you're out, and as I understand, they do make the mix, already pre-mixed, the peanuts and the candy corn, but how easy is it just to mix sure? And in the ratio that I've found, which my uncle pointed out to me as I was eating, 2 peanuts to 1 candy corn.
Oh, okay. So you have to make sure when you grab it, you have the right one.
Yeah, so if you have 2 peanuts to 1 candy corn, it is off the charts. Because candy corn by itself is a little bit sweet.
Yeah.
And as we'll see,
are you going to try this?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I am.
Come on.
Let me move the microphone. You keep talking.
I'll keep talking. Also, I want to mention today there's also a food drive going on in Uniontown, in the Uniontown area, being sponsored by the Fayette Chamber of Commerce. It's happening at Adrian Market today. And go on out, non-perishable items for this year's food drive. And that is going on today, and I wanted to give them a shout-out this morning. So anybody that's participating can go on out. Walk here, go give canned goods. Sounds good to me. So what do you think?
I think, well, first and foremost, I'm happy to say I can now check that off my bucket list.
Yes.
The candy corn Oreos. And I'm pleasantly surprised. From the reviews we've read, people have said they're a bit sweet, but it does actually taste like candy corn.
Yes, it does.
Have you tried one already?
Yeah, I have to break down. My daughter saw the package of cookies. And I went out, and
you were holding it in front of her.
Say, look what I found. And she goes, but Dad, I want them. I said, I can't open these. Let me go see if I can find them. So I was able to get a package the other day, and I tried them. They're excellent with coffee.
I'm sure they are. They're good by themselves. And what was your impression when you first tried them?
Same thing you said. It was the whole idea of the taste of candy corn and the cookie. Now, do you eat it as a sandwich cookie, or do you open them up and lick out the icing? That's the question.
I generally do the sandwich cookie just because I like what I like. My favorite thing about cookies in general, and I can't believe we're talking about cookies at the Heart Walk, but that's okay. I like to dunk it in when they have
carbs.
Yeah,
well, maybe not good. But
when you have the milk, I like to dunk it in, and I like the cookies to get a little slightly soggy, and then I like to bite into it and have that little soggy, crunchy, creamy texture all in one bite.
Right.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
I have opened them and, eaten the cream and then, or you can eat the cream, put them back together and put them back in the bag.
Or you could do what I did with one, is I took two apart and made a double stuffed candy corn.
That's nice.
That is a good one. And let me say, the teeth tingled for a while after that.
Yeah, the teeth tingled, the shot of sugar to the bloodstream.
Yeah. And the other thing we haven't talked about is the Pirates. You were at the game on Tuesday
night.
And you got to see them do a number on the Reds.
It was great. I was a little nervous. First of all, I was nervous about the game because the wild card game itself, you play 162 games, and then it all hinges on a one-game playoff.
Right.
So Major League Baseball teams aren't put together and designed to win one game. They're designed to win
series.
A series and over a period of time. So when you have it all come down to one game, it makes things tough. Now, the Pirates and Reds were both in the same boat, but Cueto, who was going for the Reds, has always been tough on the Pirates.
Right.
And especially this year, he had an off year. He was hurt most of the year. But when they came out, and the first inning, even though they didn't score any runs, when I saw him squaring up the ball and just taking the bat to the ball and hitting the ball hard, I knew it was going to be a good night. And then the crowd, the atmosphere at the game was off the charts. I've been to 2 Super Bowls. I've been to multiple AFC championship games, and I have never felt an atmosphere like that before. It was 20 years of frustration, all bursting at one time. And I will be at the game on tomorrow and on Monday, but I don't look for that atmosphere to be recreated because it was so spontaneous, and it was just, you had the old hockey thing that we were talking about before where when you go to hockey playoff games, the thing is, at the Penguins games, the crowd chants the opposing goaltender's name. Yes.
Sorry.
And the best part of that game was when the crowd started chanting Cueto, and he dropped the ball.
Right.
And then the very next pitch was a meatball belt high that was busted by Russell Martin 400 feet to left field. That was awesome. And, Cueto will never say that the fans got in his head. He'll never admit to it. But in my opinion, I think it did get him a little riled because when you're not on your game and then you have 40,000-plus fans chanting your name, trying to get under your skin, it's hard to ignore it.
Well, I enjoyed it. I was at the edge of my seat on Tuesday night watching that. And, again, how many pitchers did Cincinnati go through in one game?
A lot. I believe
they brought
Cueto, Marshall, Hoover. I'm just thinking of the names we were chanting during the game.
But 7 or 8. And they went through quick.
Well, really quickly. We were in a predicament because everyone's chanting the pitchers' names, and then they bring Hoover in, and the Pirates had a runner on first. Now, the problem is, if you remember Bob Prince, whenever someone would turn a double play, his famous call was Hoover.
Right.
So we said we shouldn't chant Hoover because we don't want a double play right now, but we want to chant his name. So we were in a little bit of a conundrum there, but it didn't last long.
Well, let's see. We went through the candy corn cookies that we finally got to try. We've talked baseball, so guess what that means?
Heart health.
No, it's time for our first break.
And then heart health?
Then heart health.
Okay. We will be right back with more Just Cook It live from the 2013 Fayette County Heart Walk at Penn State Fayette, the Everly campus. So don't touch that radio dial. When we come back, we're going to talk heart-healthy foods from now for the rest of the program.
Promise.
It is Bill. You have Bill Alexander's word. And Just Cook It is served up to you today by the Big Barn Country Store and Deli, by Pareca Chiropractic Center, Inc., by 4th Street Barbecue, by the Herald Standard, and on FCTV by Phil Gianetti Motors.
And you're watching Just Cook It on Fayette TV Channel 77 and also at JustCookIt.tv. And you're listening to Just Cook It Radio here on your local station, 590 Radio WMBS.
Phil Gianetti Motors at 656 National Pike East in Brownsville is a proud sponsor of programming on FCTV. Phil Gianetti Motors providing quality vehicles for 45 years. If you're looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle, give Phil Gianetti's a call at 724-785-6800 or stop by their website, philgianettimotors.com.
Hello, Fayette TV, and thank you for watching Just Cook It Radio right here on Channel 77. I am Mario Pareca.
And I'm Bill Alexander. If you like what you've seen so far, you can watch the program in its entirety at JustCookIt.tv for food, life, and everything in between.
welcome back. You are listening to Just Cook It on your local station, 590 Radio, WMBS, and also on FCTV Channel 77, and at justcookit.tv. I am Mario Pareca. I'm here with Bill Alexander, and we are live at the 2013 Fayette County Heart Walk right here at Penn State Fayette. Come on down, see all this, everything that's going on, and get involved in your heart health.
Yeah, and if you're at our table right now, across us from us is the American Heart Association. They're doing blood pressure checks and everything else, but the mute nurses are really cute. So I just want to let you know, if you want to come in, that will get your blood going on a Saturday morning. They're across from us.
There you go.
And one of them, I actually know her brother, but I'm not going to say anything.
Okay,
yeah.
You just did.
I just realized that I know her brother.
So, being here at the Heart Walk on a beautiful day, right here at Penn State Fayette, and believe it or not, this is the first time I've ever been to Penn State Fayette.
Is it really?
Yes, it is. So it's a whole new experience for me. You have your contraband on the table right there as we just tasted our candy corn Oreos. And we're going to talk a little heart health. And, again, we talked about the American Heart Association, which is the largest voluntary health organization working to prevent, treat, and defeat heart disease, stroke, and other cardiovascular diseases. These diseases are the nation's number one and number 4 killers, and claim more than 813,804 American lives a year, believe it or not.
Really?
It's an astounding number. And heart disease is really a big thing, especially in the United States, especially. When you go to other countries, you don't see heart disease as much as you do here. And a big reason for that, Bill, is the Western diet that we eat.
Well, and I was going to say that because I'm understanding more and more about that diet, and we're also more sedentary than we were 30 and 40 years ago.
Right.
And the diet now is a lot of pre-processed foods that may have, I hate to use the term, but corn syrup as one of its main ingredients. Well, we're not able to process it like we are with pure sugar and natural sugar, so that's one of the reasons why we're having the difficulty that we are.
Well, even sugar itself isn't the best thing for you to consume. Refined sugar is one of the worst things you can put in your body. And, you know, an easy way to look at that, and I've done a lot of research on this myself, and I'm actually reading a great book about it right now called Salt, Sugar, Fat. It just talks about the food industry and the reason things are how they are. But the reason, you know, if you look at even white flour, refined sugars, look at it this way. For instance, we all know cocaine is bad for us, right?
Right.
We shouldn't do cocaine. It's very addictive, and it's just not a good thing to put in your body. Cocaine is made from the coca leaf.
Right.
The coca leaf itself is very healthy. There are people who are very active, who hike and are very health conscious, who drink coca tea before they do their physical activities because it gives you energy, it's non-addictive, and it's very good for you. But when you take the coca leaf and you refine it down and reduce it down to its powdered components, you get cocaine, which is bad for you. So take sugarcane, for instance. Sugarcane really isn't bad for you, but when you refine it down the same way and you get that white powder, which is sugar, it's bad for you.
You're breaking it down.
When you look at wheat itself and whole grains are actually good for you. But when you refine it down, see, food itself is a whole nutrient complex. When you look at broccoli, it's the broccoli, not it's not one nutrient. It's a bunch of complex nutrients that are packaged into that broccoli or into that carrot or whatever you're eating that make it what it is and make it good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Man-made vitamin C, for instance, you can overdose on that and die.
Right.
But if you eat 1,000,000 carrots, it'll never hurt you. Your skin might turn a little orange.
Your eyes might be a little bit orange.
Yeah,
you're fine.
But it won't hurt you because of that nutrient complex. So it goes back to foods in nature, you know, the way food was meant to be eaten, not processed, not broken down. When they started industrializing food is when all the problems started. And they did that for a number of reasons. They did that for transportation reasons, and they did it for convenience reasons because women wanted to start joining the workforce, and frankly, cooking wasn't important enough back then for men to take an interest in.
Right.
So, you know, convenience became very important. And what happened was people started making a lot of money from it, companies, and they actually, and it's a shame and it's almost a sin to say that food is industrial because it should not be industrial.
Right, exactly.
And you have these huge agribusinesses that are, you know, putting this stuff in front of you that are packed with sugar, packed with salt, packed with the wrong kinds of fats, and we eat them every day. And like you said, the sedentary lifestyle. Humans weren't made to sit in front of a desk all day. We were made to be out in the wild, not in the wild, but outside. You know, our ancestors were hunters, gatherers, and, you know, so they were always very active and out trying to get their next meal and all of that stuff. And now we sit behind a desk 40 hours a week, and we're eating all the wrong foods because of all the various reasons we mentioned, plus more on top of that. And it's just a huge cocktail for disaster. So we're seeing cardiovascular disease go up. We're seeing, you know, the strokes go up, which is a part of cardiovascular health. We're seing cancer skyrocket. Way back when, in the early 1900s, cancer, 1 in every 12 people got cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you'd think with all the billions of dollars that have been spent in cancer research, all the technology and science we have, that would be a better number. Well, in fact, today, 1 in every 2 people get cancer.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize.
So, if you look around, actually, I'm sorry, I was wrong with it. It's 1 in every 3, not 1 in every 2, but it will be 1 in every 2 if something doesn't change within the next 40 years.
Right.
The numbers say. So, if you look around and you look at 2 people, if you have one on your right, one on your left, if it ain't them, it's you.
That's right.
So it's a scary, scary thing. And, there's different things you can do, but nothing's going to change and get better if you don't help yourself.
Right.
That's the first thing. You have all these advocates out there and all these people, such as the American Heart Association, which are great organizations. They're really trying to help. But if you don't help yourself first, you can't help anyone else.
Exactly. And it's nice that they do these walks for awareness and get people out there and moving. But you need to do that on a regular basis, not just one day a year.
Absolutely.
You need to keep doing that. And there's a lot of organizations that do these things, so you can. I mean, I have nieces that run on a regular basis, and they do that for their heart health and for their weight and everything else. Now,
right.
Of course, look at me. I need to start doing more again. But, again, lifestyle also and schedules have a lot to do with it, where you don't have the opportunity to go out and do it as much as you'd like to.
And stress. Stress is a huge thing.
Big thing.
Yeah, stress is huge. And stress is caused by a number of things, not only your job and your work, but the more you eat and the more weight you put on your body and the more it doesn't even have to be weight, because some people can eat and not gain any weight, but just because they're skinny doesn't mean they're healthy.
Right.
It's about what's on the inside, not all about what's on the outside. So when you eat and you eat the wrong things and you live that sedentary lifestyle, that puts stress on you too that you don't know in the form of inflammation. Massive body inflammation is a huge problem these days, and that's where taking your omegas helps. You need that healthy fat in your diet. So I recommend to everyone to take, and we laugh because the show before our program, the past month or so, has been Dr. Pincus,
right.
The omegas. But omega is very important, and I take my omegas. I took my omegas this morning before I came. I'll take them again this afternoon and again tonight. And it's just, you have to get out and you have to do something. You have to supplement in some way. You have to get the nutrition that we're not getting anymore, because the food itself isn't enough. When you talk about carrots, if you grow your own, if you garden yourself at home, and you taste the tomatoes and the carrots and the things that you grow at home, they taste like carrots and tomatoes.
Right.
If you go to the supermarket and you buy them off the shelves, they taste like water, like nothing, because there's no nutrition in them. They're processed with, the herbicides, the pesticides. They're grown with the herbicides, the pesticides, and a lot of them are genetically modified, and that's what we discussed in the past.
And that's probably why you're starting to notice, not only in our county, but also throughout the area and throughout our country, that farmers markets are actually becoming popular again.
Yes.
Because people are what they eat, and they're not buying the vegetables and the fruits from a grocery store. They're coming out and getting it because they know where it's being produced. They know who's taking care of it. They know that it is, and it's still being done on a local, smaller basis than with these agri-corporations.
Absolutely. And, here's a startling fact, actually. You brought up the fact, or the point, the story, I should say, you brought to my attention. We talked about it on the program a couple weeks ago about the United States feeding the world, the farmers. Well, what's scary about that, too, I did some research. Less than 1% of our population are farmers.
Which is sad.
Right. Way back when, there were a lot of farmers. A lot of people were farming, and we had less food than we do today.
Right.
But and another thing, a lot of these farmers, they're growing so much food on this land, and they're growing the wrong kinds of food, because the agribusiness are forcing them to grow certain things. Corn, for instance.
And they're also getting subsidies to grow those things, and subsidies not to grow certain things.
Right. And that's a scary thing, too. I mean, corn, soy. I mean, we have way too much of it. Yeah, feed the world, but what are we feeding them?
Right.
And we're not really feeding the world, because if we were, there wouldn't be billions of people starving.
That's exactly right.
So, I mean, it's a scary thing.
I think it was a nice catchphrase is what it was, is basically what they were saying.
What's that?
We're producing enough food to feed the world.
Yeah.
We're not actually feeding them.
Yeah.
But we have a lot going to waste,
if
too.
If we wanted to, we could, but we're not. Yeah, but we're not.
Quick question for you before we go to break. Government's in shutdown mode.
Yeah.
What happens to the FDA?
To be honest, I don't think a lot of people know.
I was thinking about
really
that today.
Going on here.
Who's inspecting? who's doing the stuff that we're paying them to do right now because they shut the government down?
Yeah, I really don't know the answer to that. I'm kind of confused by the whole thing myself, and I don't think a lot of people really know what I mean, people know why it's shut down, but they don't know where it goes once it does. Like, what are the repercussions of this? Because when was the last time it shut down? Years ago.
It was Clinton was in office.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not something we experience on a regular basis.
I think it was the last time the Pirates were in the playoffs, to be honest with you. I'm serious on that, to be honest with you.
That's sad and appalling at the same time. But, so I guess my point through all this is you have to help yourself. You have to look at foods, and we're going to talk about some foods after the break, so you can go out and eat that are heart healthy, some different ways that you can get healthier. And because I think we've laid out a lot of the issues here, and I mean, I can go into detail. Maybe in the future episodes we'll go into more detail and talk more about this. But it is an issue, and you can see by the heart walk. And, you know, were there heart walks 100 years ago?
Yeah,
probably not. Yeah. So, I mean, things like this, this is a great event, but it's something that you need to be aware of and you need to take action on. You can't just say, yeah, I know I'm eating the wrong things, and then stuff your face with more of them. So get out, learn, try new foods, eat better foods that we're going to talk about, help yourself, and then you can start talking to other people and helping other people, because if you're doing it and you're getting healthy, you don't want to be the only person that's doing it. You want your wife, your kids, your husband, whoever, the people that you care about, to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I was watching something else behind me. There was something going on. I'm sorry. And also, one of our county commissioners is here, too, getting ready to start the Heart Walk. So we must be getting underway in about 20 minutes. So I'm watching things as you're talking to me, and we need to do a break. So let's do that right now.
We'll be right back. Again, don't touch that radio dial. When we come back, we're going to talk about some heart-healthy foods and some things you can do to get yourself back on track and get yourself back healthier. And Just Cook It is served up to you today by the Big Barn Country Store and Deli, by Parega Chiropractic Center, Inc., by 4th Street Barbecue, and by the Herald Standard.
And trust me, I am paying attention now. You're watching Just Cook It on Fayette TV, Channel 77, and also at JustCookIt.tv. And you're listening to Just Cook It Radio here on your local station, 590 Radio, WMBS.
Good to have you back. You're listening to Just Cook It on your local station, 590 Radio, WMBS, and also on SCTV, Channel 77, and at JustCookIt.tv. I am Mario Pareca. I'm here with Bill Alexander, and we are live at the 2013 Fayette County Heart Walk right here at Penn State Fayette, the Eberly campus. A lot of things going on today on a beautiful Saturday morning.
There's a lot of people here that are well known in the community that I'm looking around, starting to recognize. I'm not mentioning any names. And I'm going, wait, I know him, I know him, I know him, and I know him. So this is kind of cool to be out here today to see all the people. I mean, the crowd is really starting to build up, which hopefully when they're done here, they all go to Hopwood, Adrian's Market, to help out with the Fayette Chamber of Commerce food drive this year. And again, that's going on today too. So we're out here. We're at the Heart Walk. It's a beautiful Saturday. This is one of the best views in the world. Have all these people, and you have the Laurel Mountains that we're staring at right now. This is one of the most beautiful locations for a college campus.
And like I said, this is the first time I've been on this campus.
That amazes me.
It is. I went to Westmoreland Community College, so I've been there plenty of times. But, yeah, I mean, I've gone past this campus many, many times. I've just never had the need.
Yeah. Well, hey, now you're here.
Yeah, it is.
Beautiful place.
And my mother actually this is her alma. She's an alma mater from here.
Penn State.
Penn State, yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. My father was Cal U.
Yep.
And my mother, is yours?
Yeah, I'm Cal U
too. Yeah.
So we think we passed through the hallways once or twice. Him being much older than I am, but still not much. That thing is.
Anyway, so let's talk about what you can do, because in the last segment we talked about
what's
sad
wrong.
State of food.
Yeah, what's wrong? Yeah,
let's to sum it up. And there is more to that story, and like I said, we can go into that in greater detail in future episodes. But I want to give you some information on what you can do to help yourself, because that's just a huge thing. And it's great to see so many people out at the Heart Walk today. And hopefully a lot of the people that are here aren't here just to walk and then go to stop at McDonald's on their way home.
You know, that crossed my mind, too, because, yeah, you're doing it, but are you living it?
Right.
Are you living it? Yes, you're out here doing it, but are you living it? And you're talking about what we can do to eat healthy. Is some of the problems we're having with the way we prepare the food?
Absolutely. Yeah, deep frying is a huge problem. I mean, you talk about trans fats out the wazoo, and it's just a horrible thing. And actually, eating fried foods is actually, I've read some studies, and they actually say it is, and most people know this, it's pretty common knowledge, but it hardens your blood vessels,
right,
hardens your arteries, and it's just a bad thing. So if you're talking cardiovascular health, eating fried foods is one of the worst things you can put in your body. And also,
that's if you eat it on a daily basis. Moderation, you're okay.
Moderation, you're okay. I mean, I'm going to eat French fries again in my life.
Right.
I can guarantee you that. But I don't eat them every day, and I don't eat them even once a week, I would say.
Right.
It's just one of those things you try to stay away from and you try to avoid. But again, I'm an advocate of healthier eating, healthier choices, but I'm not an advocate of extremism. Mm-hmm. If you do it, good for you, more power to you.
Right.
Don't let me tell you how to live your life. But as far as I only eat raw foods, that's not for me personally. I just can't do that. So again, the moderation thing, you gotta eat. You gotta splurge occasionally, and it's actually healthy to splurge occasionally.
Yeah.
Just don't make it an everyday deal and a habit and something that I eat McDonald's for lunch every day. Well, that's not. What you do consistently is what shows up.
Exactly.
So if you're consistently making good choices, that's what you'll feel, that's what you'll see.
Mm.
So that's the most important part. But let's talk about the top 25 heart-healthy foods.
Sounds good to me.
Talk about that? I found this online, and some of them I agree with, some of them I don't. So we're going to go through this, and I'll give my commentary. Number 1, salmon.
Okay, I like salmon.
I do too. Salmon, you can grill it. It's great grilled. You can
high in omegas, right?
Very high in omegas. You can saute it. You can even poach it. Poached salmon's excellent. It's very, very healthy. It's one of the healthiest ways you can make it. So salmon's very, very good for you. And really, any fatty fish isn't bad for you because, again, the fats are actually good fats.
Right.
So you talk about your omegas. If you take your fish oils,
yeah,
kind of the same thing. So salmon, very good. Number 2, flaxseed. I'm a fan of flaxseed.
Hey, what do you get flaxseed in? I mean,
you can get it in a variety of different ways. You can get it ground. You can get the seeds themselves, which I do. I like to put it on oatmeal.
What does it taste like?
Flaxseed.
Flaxseed.
I mean, it almost reminds me of it's got like a nutty taste,
okay.
Almost like if you think about, if I was going to compare it to something, I would probably say like sunflower seeds.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I don't think I've ever had a flaxseed, or at least was conscious about eating a flaxseed.
Yeah, you can get them in the supermarket. And I always have a tub of organic flaxseed up in my cabinet. I like it with fruit. You can sprinkle it on fruit. You can sprinkle it on salads.
Okay.
You can put it on oatmeal. Just different ways that you can eat it, and it's very, very good for you. It's very high in omega-3 fatty acids, again. So it's another one of those foods. And it's very good for, you can put it in muffins, you can put it in cookies, and it's very anti-inflammatory, very, very good for you. Number 3 is actually oatmeal. And I just mentioned oatmeal, and oatmeal's a good way to start the day. It's one of those things you got to be careful of because it is carbohydrate.
Right.
But if you're having it for breakfast, that's fine. Just don't put a lot of cream on it. Don't
sugar, brown sugar, all that other stuff.
I would say no sugar. I would say if you're going to sweeten it with anything, I usually put a little drizzle of organic honey on it.
That's a good idea.
And that does the trick for me.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, you can put some flax seeds. Number 4, black or kidney beans. It's high in niacin. Magnesium, again, you get some omega-3s in them. And they're great on salads.
Okay.
They're great to make soups with, bean soups. I like rice and beans, which make the complete protein.
That's good.
So you can have, I like brown rice. And you can even buy brown rice in the freezer section of the supermarket.
Already done.
So, yeah, so you don't...
How hard is it to make rice, though?
It's not, and that's the thing. And they make it even easier, and that's what I think, and I tell people, minute rice is one of the stupidest foods ever created. I mean... Have I used it before? Yes, but do I try to stay away from it? I just think it's so easy to put a pot of water on the stove and cook your rice.
Right.
And you can even do it pilaf style in the oven, which is even easier. So, I mean, number 5, almonds.
I love almonds.
Huge fan of almonds. Again, you get your omega-3s, high in vitamin E,
one
fiber.
of those things with almonds, and there usually is a bag or container in the cabinet, and I go in and reach into my snack.
Mm-hmm.
They're so expensive. I mean, almonds, and that's like walnuts, too, which may be on your list.
That's
because,
actually the next
I
one.
love
That's
walnuts.
number 6.
But again, it's just some of these things, the prices are higher than what you would normally do. And I think that has a lot to do with why people don't go for them. They settle for the cheaper product, which is going to not be as good for them.
Well, again, and I'm under the assumption that if it's going to make me feel good and it's going to make me live longer,
Right.
then I'll pay an extra $1 for it.
Right.
That's me. I mean, it's up to you. Whatever's in your budget is up to you, but almonds are a fantastic snack, and walnuts especially, because walnuts naturally suppress the appetite as well.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So they're a great snack. If you pop 3 or 4 walnuts, it'll really help your cravings, and it'll help you get through that, in between meal thing. Plus, they have protein, and they're very, very good for you. And almonds too. Almonds and walnuts are both some of the best nuts that you can eat, that you can snack on.
Yeah, I can devour walnuts. That's one of those things.
Walnuts and blue cheese on a salad. Oh, that's like heaven.
Yes, I have had that.
Well, we used to make actually a bruschetta where we would take, like a baguette. Now, this isn't extra heart healthy, but you take a baguette, you cut it, you toast it. Okay, this is like for your dinner party.
Right.
You make a mix with sautéed spinach and walnut oil, toasted walnuts, and gorgonzola cheese.
Okay.
Mix that together, put it on your toasted baguette, pop it in the oven just until it starts to get melty. Off the charts. Super simple. Off the charts.
Sounds good. Sounds real good.
Number 7 is red wine. That's a good one, huh? That's something that most people like. It's got a lot of, the reason red wine is heart healthy is because of the resveratrol.
Right.
The problem is, 1 glass a day, they say, is good for you, for your cholesterol, for your HDL, which is a good cholesterol. But the problem with red wine is you would have to drink an extreme amount of it to get the amount of resveratrol that you need.
I just realized something. That means my cousin, who lives out west, is going to live forever.
Well, actually, a better way is to get a resveratrol supplement, and I take resveratrol on a daily basis along with my
How do you spell that?
Resveratrol is spelled R-E-S
Okay.
E-R-V-A-T-R-O-L.
Okay, everybody write that down. Write that down.
R-E-S-E-R-V-A-T-R-O-L, resveratrol. And it comes in red wine, but the kind that I take is equivalent. Obviously, there's not alcohol in it, but it's equivalent to 500 glasses of red wine.
Holy cow.
So it really does the trick.
Right.
And resveratrol is very anti-aging.
Okay.
And it's very, very good for you. So that's where, and it's, again, very good for the cholesterol, and that's where why everyone says a glass of red wine is healthy, is because the resveratrol, which comes from the grape.
Gotcha.
Number 8 is tuna.
I'm not a big fan of tuna.
I love tuna.
And I don't know. I think it's those years of tuna noodle casserole that my mother would make.
Yeah, that'll do it. I like tuna. I'm not a huge fan of canned tuna. I mean, I will eat it if I'm looking for like a high-protein snack or something that I'm really hungry and it's decent to put on a salad or something. But I love like just lightly seared tuna. Like you get that red.
Well,
blue
tuna steaks I like. Canned tuna I have a problem.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But you get like tuna, and you get that smoking hot pan, and you just sear it on both sides. It's still rare when you cut it, like sushi grade stuff, but it's seared on the outside. Or tuna carpaccio.
Okay.
Excellent. Those are some of my favorite things to eat.
Hey, I got to make a comment. We're sitting here at Penn State Fayette campus, and I'm sitting here, and maybe this is not the right song to be playing here right now behind us. They're playing Sweet Caroline Enough. I break out going, let's go, Pitt. You know it was me. Sorry. Here we go. Ready?
Go ahead.
No, I'm not going to.
You can sing the whole chorus.
I couldn't do it. You know that.
Go ahead.
That was the best part. I'm listening. No, they didn't do it. Sorry. No, I was waiting for Let's Go Pitt. I'm sorry.
You should have started. Other people. Well,
I may be escorted off campus.
Yeah,
That's why to bring it up. And it just, did you hit it? No, never mind. Anyway,
number 9, getting back.
Sorry.
Number 9, now on this list, number 9 is tofu, and I have an issue with that.
Why is that?
I do not like tofu because it's made with soy.
Okay.
And 90.
But everybody keeps saying how wonderful soy is.
Soy is not good for you. 97% of soy is genetically modified, first of all.
Okay.
Which is that. And soy naturally causes an increase in estrogen.
Okay.
So if you want to, if you're a man, if you're a little too masculine,
right, you don't have soy.
But it's just not a good thing. Soy is inflammatory itself again, and I'm not a tofu fan.
Gotcha.
So that's where I disagree with this list. That's where
no tofu turkey.
No tofu for me. No, thank you. Okay. Number 10 is brown rice, and we actually touched on that, so we'll move on from that. But Number 11 is soy milk, and again, no thank you. I'll pass on that one. Number 12 is blueberries, which I like blueberries. They have beta-carotene and magnesium, potassium, fiber.
But they're not really blue.
But they're called blueberries. So they're very, very good. Carrots, again.
Okay.
Carrots are very good. And get your vitamin C. They'll make you orange if you eat too many of them. Number 14 is a very good one, spinach, high in iron.
I love spinach. I love fresh spinach.
Yes. Spinach is very, very good, and it's good. I'll eat it sautéed. I'll eat it raw.
Right.
Anyway, I always think about Popeye, and I keep thinking, that was an advertising genius.
Well, it is. It's an excellent way of doing things.
Yeah. So I hope every time that I try to squeeze a can of spinach.
Right.
No, I don't eat spinach out of the can. I'm just kidding. But he always had that can of spinach, and he would squeeze it in the middle, and the top would fly off. And it was funny because he would squeeze it, and it would open like a can.
Wasn't it amazing? He had the strength. Maybe it was a perforated edge around the top of the can.
Do they make spinach?
I don't know.
Interesting. And that reminds me, I was watching Mad. Do you ever watch Mad Men?
Yes.
The beer that they drank at the beginning of the episode, it was the old cans where you had to use a can opener to actually open it. It didn't have the tabs on it. I didn't know that existed, to be honest, until I saw it on there. Blew my mind. That spinach can reminded me of that. Number 15 is broccoli. I'm a big broccoli fan.
I love
it's one
broccoli.
of my favorites.
And this is a story, and if he finds out I'm telling you this, I'll get in trouble. My nephew, who's in high school now, wouldn't eat broccoli as a kid, so how they got him to eat it is they let him eat broccoli and they put ketchup on it.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that combination.
And to this day, that's the way he eats it.
Huh. I'll have to try that.
It was Heinz ketchup, of course, just to let you know. But
it has a given. But
is there any other ketchup out there?
No, not to my knowledge.
I didn't think so either.
But as far as broccoli goes, I try to avoid the cheese sauce. I
don't like it with cheese sauce.
I like it with cheese sauce, but I don't eat it that way just because of the.
Well, that's like going back to the whole spinach thing. When you have a spinach salad, I mean, what do you get? You got the bacon, you got all this. And I'm going, okay, I like that. But I like raw spinach.
Don't get me wrong. I love a spinach salad with a warm, sweet and sour bacon dressing and hard-boiled eggs.
Oh, yeah.
But you got to watch. That kind of defeats the purpose. It's like...
Well, it balances it out then, right? You're eating spinach, you're eating bacon, it all equal.
However it makes you.
Yeah, it works.
It's like saying almonds. Great, I'll go get a Hershey bar with almonds, and it's healthy.
Well, chocolate's good for you, they say.
Chocolate is, not milk chocolate. Well, the dark, you have to get dark chocolate that's like 90% cacao. That's the stuff.
Cacao.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Number 16, one of my favorites, sweet potatoes.
I love
sweet potatoes.
With the marshmallows on top and the brown sugar and everything else.
And the moral of the story is Bill Alexander can make any healthy food unhealthy, however delicious it may be.
Well, but think about it. When you think of these foods, we think of them all doctored up. We don't think them plain.
Right. Well, baked potato or sweet potatoes, I usually bake mine.
Yes.
And I will just eat it.
Yeah.
I'll cut it open and I'll eat it. And some of the great things you can put, a little organic brown sugar won't hurt you.
Okay.
Because I have some, I'll use that occasionally. Some cinnamon. Cinnamon's great on sweet potatoes, so sometimes I'll just put some cinnamon on, maybe a little organic butter just to give it a little richer flavor. But it's one of those things you can actually, believe it or not, you can eat sweet potatoes with plain.
Right.
And they're still good. Right. They're sweet, they're good, and they're good for you. Number 17 is red bell peppers.
Okay.
I like red bell peppers. I love them roasted. I love them, you can blister the skin over an open flame or a burner, and it'll rub right off you. The trick to roasting red bell peppers is you have to put them over an open flame, get that, or in a hot broiler, get that skin blistered so it turns black, and then you put it in a bowl and cover it with saran wrap really tightly so it steams for a while. You let that sit for 5 or 10 minutes, so when you open it up and you grab it, the skin will just rub right off. Mm-hmm. You can just use your hands and it'll peel right off, and you have perfectly roasted red pepper, which is really, you can do that with other peppers too, by the way.
It's not just red. Yeah.
Number 18 is asparagus.
You know, I was never a big fan of asparagus until last year, and I think we had it at Thanksgiving, and I'm going, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I love it. I love it grilled. Yeah. It's one of my favorites. You use some, just toss it with a little extra virgin olive oil, some sea salt, black pepper, and some lemon zest.
Right.
Throw it right on the grill and roll it. Takes about 8 minutes. Fantastic.
It does taste good.
I like it with sauteed mushrooms, too. Mushrooms are good for you.
Good.
So, asparagus is something you can do a ton with. And I even had a column in the Herald Standard a few weeks back It features asparagus with the hard-boiled egg and the roasted shallot vinaigrette.
How many more do we have left?
Just about 7. We'll get through them really fast.
Real quick.
Number 19 is oranges.
They're good.
Number 20, tomatoes.
Okay.
I like tomatoes. Number 21, again, perfect for this time of year. This one, acorn squash. You can bake it. You can use it a variety of different ways. Number 22, cantaloupe. Number 23, my favorite fruit, papayas.
Okay.
Love papayas. Number 24, there's your dark chocolate.
There you go.
Okay.
With almonds.
Yeah, there's actually some resveratrol in dark chocolate as well.
Okay.
So you can, again, picking up on something we talked about. Number 25 is tea.
What kind of tea?
Tea, green tea is typically the best. You want to get organic tea.
Okay.
So organic herbal tea, green teas. And tea is one of those things where you can get different types and try different types, and whatever you like the best, you can go ahead and use. So as long as it's organic, as long as it's herbal, Celestial Seasonings is one that's decent for you that I usually drink. This common that you can find at the supermarket.
Right.
You don't have to order special. But those are your top 25 hard, healthy foods. And just to go back to one of them really quickly, papaya. I love papayas, and one cool thing about papayas, if you cut them open, they have these little black seeds in the middle that are round. If you take those seeds and you keep them and you dry them out and you grind them up into a powder in a food processor, that is fantastic for tenderizing meat.
Oh, really?
Seeds of the papaya, there's an acid in there. If you put it on your meat or put it in your meat marinade, it'll take the toughest cuts of meat and tenderize it.
I'll be glad. Well, it's time to wrap everything up. From the Heart Walk, and the walk's getting underway right now. They're starting the opening ceremony, so I guess it's our time to leave.
Yes, while they walk, we'll walk to the cars. But I want to thank everyone for listening. We will be back next Saturday, 9 a.m., right here on WMBS with an all-new episode. Check us out on the web at justcookit.net. You can find all things Just Cook It there. Our social media. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, all that fun stuff.
One thing before we go, we have to thank Jim Morgan for working with us the last few weeks,
it's been a pleasure.
Especially today. We've enjoyed that. And Mike is back next week. So
I can't wait to hear all about his travels and his all the different things. So check us out on the web at justcookit.net, our podcast, everything, and we'll be back 9 a.m. next week on WMBS. So be sure to tune in and listen in and check us out all over. We're all over. You can't miss us if you look for us. So thank you again for listening. Always remember to just cook it. For Bill Alexander, I'm Mario Pareca, live from the 2013 Fayette County Heart Walk at Penn State Fayette. We will talk to you next week.
You have been listening to Just Cook It Radio with Mario Pareca and Bill Alexander. For more information on this program and how to download it as a podcast, go to justcookitradio.com. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please call us at 1-855-590-0590.
This has been a $1 Million Baby production.